So this is like my fourth time trying to film this review, and I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just out of practice with reviews, but I just want to get this one right. So yes, today we are doing a review. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I am doing a review of Unraveling by Sara. I was very wonderfully sent an advanced release copy of Unraveling from the author Sara, so thank you very much, Sara. I'm really happy to have gotten that, and I did a video unboxing of it, and my reaction was very genuine because I was actually expecting an ARC. I was expecting an advanced reader copy, not advanced release copy. So the fact that it was finished was just a huge surprise for me. This was also our Coffee Chapters and Christian YA book club pick for July. We had some discussions on this book and had a lot of fun reading that for the month of July. So without further ado, I will just give you my review and my thoughts and feelings on this. Now, I won't go into too much detail on what this is about or the synopsis of it because it is a second book in a trilogy, but I'll just give you my overall feelings of what I thought of it. So overall, I only gave it a 3.5 star rating, and that's because there's a few things in here that kind of didn't either sit well with me, or I was confused about, or I could either give or take about. Like, it didn't bother me, but I wasn't too excited about. So one of the things that just left me confused was overall all of the information. Just there's a lot of side characters, there's a lot of information that has to do with the Verity and the Void and the different worlds and the different gifts and all of those things, and I was just really confused. And I think what would have fixed that though was if I had reread Unblemished before I went into Unraveling, but I was just so excited for this book I dove right in. So I probably should have reread Unblemished before I jumped into this. So that's an easy fix. That's me. That's an easy fix. One of the things I could either give or take with this is that it started to really feel like the show Once Upon a Time. And I know Sara is a huge fan, so that would play into how she writes, and she loves fairy tales and the show and everything. So I know that it's going to play into that because she is a fan. And if you are a fan of a show, that's totally cool. That's totally cool if you love Once Upon a Time. I started enjoying it, but just kind of fell off the radar for me. So I could either give or take. Like, it wasn't a bad thing. It was just like slightly annoying in some parts, but it just felt a lot like the show. But it wasn't like a bad thing. It wasn't a good thing either. It was kind of a meh. I could give or take this. The other thing I wasn't a huge fan of was the relationships, the love triangle we have going on, the Team Kai, Team Joshua thing. At one point, I just wanted to drop both teams and just go Team Eliana. Like, I was annoyed with both boys. Like, at one point, I was like, dude, go away and just let the girl go. Like, it just got kind of annoying on either end with the guys. At some points, though, you could see why the guys did certain things, but they still needed to have the repercussions of their actions, so they still need to take responsibility. They're not free of anything that they did do in the story, but toward the end, I just kind of wanted to be done with the guys. However, my Team Kai did get revived closer toward the end, and the Team Joshua, Team Kai did kind of get revived, but for the most part of the book, I was just done with either guy. The other thing that I was kind of not a huge fan of, but could either give or take this, was the pulp culture references. Sara is a big musical fan, a big music fan, a Disney fan, just movie fan in general, and I just found there was too much pop culture references. I do still love the fact that the titles of her books reflect either certain songs, sometimes a Disney movie, sometimes a theme, and I love. Actually, what I do before I read any of her books is I flip through and I read all the chapter headers, and I kind of piece together the theme or the song or the Disney movie she's referring to. So I did like that. But if you're not huge into pulp culture, if you're not huge into Disney movies, if you're not huge in the musicals, which I'm not, or just popular music in general, you will miss some of the references. Because there's some songs in here that she was referring to and I had no idea what she was talking about. There was musicals she was referring to that I've never seen and that I didn't really know a lot about. Basically, the only culture references I got were the Disney references, because obviously. But, so the pop culture references got a little too much for me and was just too much. Even though you do understand that Eliana thinks with the musical brain. She has this thing of music, a gift of music, and her mirror song and all of that. So she does have this very music-centered brain, but just the pop culture references of our world got too much. And like I said, if you don't know them, you're going to miss that reference completely. So that was really about it for the negative or the meh part of the books that I didn't really like. The rest of the book I enjoyed. I enjoyed this fantasy adventure story. I enjoy that she is going on this adventure. I do still love all of my side characters and how she incorporates all of them. I hate page filler side characters. They need to be there for a purpose, and all of Sara's side characters are there for a purpose. There is, again, some great relationships developments that, aside from the boys, there's some great relationship developments that Eliana had. There was kind of a sister-sister bond that was coming that got me really excited, and I really enjoyed it, and that was some great character development that was happening within that relationship with both characters, and I was very excited to see that. It just, I don't know, I was just so excited. Like, I didn't even give a second thought to this character from the first book, and so when she brought her back into this book, I loved seeing what she was doing with them. So that got me really excited. And again, with the adventure and kind of what Eliana is trying to do and kind of foreseeing what she's trying to do, I'm getting pretty excited for where this book series is going. The writing, again, aside from the pop culture references becoming a little too bogged down, I love how Sara brings stuff full circle. Like, you think you've moved on from one aspect of the book, and then she brings it back and incorporates it into the next part of the story. So I really like how she, very similar to almost like Krista McGee, can bring characters and bring things full circle into a story, and things are not just written for the sake of, like I said, filling a page. Everything is written in here for a purpose and for part of the story. So because this is technically published by a Christian publisher, it's not hugely marketed as a Christian fiction, but it is published by a Christian publisher. And in the first book, this book kind of takes a shift from the little bit of an allegorical feeling we had from the first book. Like, there's some instances, if you're reading it, you could pick up, oh, this reminds me of this part of the Christian faith. But it kind of took a shift less from allegorical than just incorporating the author's faith into her writing. Like, just your faith kind of goes into every aspect of your life, and you can kind of feel that with this book. So what you should never do with fiction books is try to pull theological truths out of them. I'm just going to state that right here. So, like, even with the Chronicles of Narnia, which is very allegorical, don't pull out full theological truths from. They're fictional. So you can't, like, base the theological truths out of books. There's just authors that are incorporating their faith. Like, Tolkien incorporated his faith. Sara incorporates a bit of her faith. C.S. Lewis incorporated a lot of his faith. But just don't go looking for anything like deep and theological. It's fiction work. So I still really enjoyed the slight nods to Sara's faith as she incorporated aspects of it into her writing. And it was still very there. And if you're looking for it, you will find it. If not, then it's just really just integrated very well into her writing. As for how this book ended, it got me very excited for Unbreakable. I am kind of upset I have to wait till May because there is a cliffhanger. And if you read this book, you know what I mean exactly by cliffhanger. So I'm very excited for May. I can't wait and looking very forward to it. So like I said, I gave this book a 3.5 star rating. I would still give this more of a mild to moderate content rating just for some of the relationship aspects. Got a little too descriptive and a little too high-end romantic. I don't know. It just got a little too sensual in some description of some interactions between characters. If you have any questions about any of the content, just leave some questions down below. I will always answer content questions if you have any concern over any books that have content in them. I do like to give people, not content warnings, because content means different things to different people, but I do like to give people content heads up if you are sensitive towards different things. So that's what I like to call it. With that said, though, I do personally consider this a clean read and would recommend it to other people. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will answer them for you. So with that being said, I was a huge fan of this book. I'm a huge fan of this author. I'm a huge fan of my girl, Sara, and so proud of her to see where her writing is coming from and just the things she's going through and how these books are coming out. I'm just so proud of her and so excited for Unbreakable. So that is my review of Unraveling. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you could understand what I was trying to say. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you do have any questions, like I've said a couple times now, you can leave your questions down below. I will answer them, or any questions on my review on Goodreads. I try to answer any comments there. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.